Hello there, and welcome to episode 6 of That One Gaming Podcast, your new bi-weekly source of gaming news and discussion. I'm Colin, otherwise known around the web as Delicious Morsels, and today I got my buddy Lucas here. How you doing, Lucas?
Doing good.
Alright, and our good friend Neil is also joining us here today. He is better known as VMK89. How you doing, Neil?
Hello, friends.
Alright. So, not long ago, a particular leak surfaced that showed off footage of Nintendo working in-house on a Game Boy and Game Boy Advance emulator for the Nintendo Switch. Through some due diligence among tech-savvy members of the community, it's been since confirmed to be legitimate, and we now know, much to Nintendo's ire, I'm sure, that Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games are going to be making their way to the Nintendo Switch. Most likely through Switch Online sometime in the future. It's no longer a question of if, but when. So with that said, for today's discussion, we're going to be running down our top picks for games that we hope show up on that service when Nintendo finally decides to roll it out. These can range from individual games to entire series. But before we get into that, if you're new to the podcast, we like to discuss a few of the news topics that have happened over the past couple weeks in the front half of the episode here. And we call that segment the News Grind. So let's hop right into it. And first off today, we have a little bit of an update on the Wii and DSi eShop channels. And that is that there is still no update. Nintendo still really has nothing to announce on this one way or another, so they are still inactive. You still cannot go on your Wii or your DSi and re-download past purchases, and it doesn't look like Nintendo is in too big of a hurry to rectify that.
Yeah, they really seem to be sticking to their not commenting on anything guns, just like with the emulator leak.
Yeah. Well, with the emulator leak seems more appropriate to not respond to, because companies do that all the time with leaks. What's more upsetting is the Wii thing, just because that's actually affecting people. I mean, probably not that many people, and it's not like, oh god, I can't play my old Wii games necessarily, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that are inconvenienced quite a bit by this.
Oh yeah, and like, even aside from just the Wii and DSi, this is also kind of giving us a peek into what the future holds for the Wii U and the 3DS once those go fully offline next year.
That's very true, too.
Yeah.
This almost is starting to look like it's a deliberate Nintendo thing. They got caught in the act with it, and they're just trying to avoid as much bad PR with it as they can and just hope we all forget about it.
But we haven't forgot about it.
No, we haven't forgot about it. It's been 2 months. We're still talking about it.
Yeah.
But Nintendo wants us to forget. But anyway, we said we'd kind of keep an eye on that. So there's that little update there. Not really much else to say there except, well, pray it doesn't happen to the 3DS and Wii U, but it probably will. So let's move on.
Yep.
So now we have an article from Nintendo Life discussing an NFT project with artwork from Mega Man artist and Mighty Number 9 creator Keiji Inafune confirmed. So it kind of got leaked at first, and then it later came out that it was confirmed by Keiji Inafune himself that they are working on an NFT project featuring original artwork. It's titled Beastroid. And now we can be sad because Mega Man, not Mega Man himself, but Mega Man inspired stuff is going into the NFT world.
Yep. Oh, how the mighty have fallen further.
further. The mighty number 9 have fallen further.
Yes. Yeah.
NFTs. I mean,
You hate to see it happen.
yeah. I mean, I guess I'm glad it's not associated with official Mega Man, but like, I would hate to be associated with official Mega Man right now anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
Where's Mega Man X9, Capcom?
I don't know if we need that. This is coming from a Mega Man mega fan.
Hey, Mega Man 11 turned out okay.
That's true.
They could turn it around with X9.
Potentially. Yeah, if they can make Mega Man X9 as good as Mega Man 11 was, then sure. But, like, given X8 and X7 and X6 and kind of X5 with those wacky Guns N' Roses member names written up by none other than Lunette the Clown from Big Comfy Couch. I don't know. I think the Mega Man X series can kind of just stay where it is. Maybe a new ZX game, though.
That would be cool.
Or, I don't know, Uncancel Legends 3, maybe?
They did it with Dread.
Yeah, you never know. A Metroid game came back from the dead.
Yep. And that was after almost...
Almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
They could do it.
Yeah, but circling around back to the NFT thing, I think these droids actually look kind of cool.
Oh yeah,
Like,
they're almost kind of like the Mega Man X Maverick bosses rendered in the style of like the classic Mega Man series. Like Frill's Dragon, for example, his pose reminds me very much like Snake Man from Mega Man 3.
Yeah, Frill Dragon looks the most Mega Man.
Yeah.
Of all of these. We've got Hippo Launcher, Frill Dragon, and Tabby the Longtail. And Tabby the Longtail is a cat, and you can guess what that looks like.
They leaned a little heavy into Cat Girl on that one.
Yeah. It's almost like a cross between like Felicia from Darkstalkers meets Bunny Rabbit from the Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. I mean, Bunny wasn't super sexualized like this.
No, but Felicia was. And Felicia was a cat girl.
Okay, fair enough.
Moving on. Oh man, we got leaks coming out left and right, everybody.
Yeah.
So first up, we got Death Stranding 2 being leaked that is in development, thanks to none other than Mr. Norman Reedus of Walking Dead fame.
Walking
Yes,
Death
the
Stranding.
Walking Death. Yes.
Walking Death Stranding.
Yes.
I mean,
It works. We're leaving that in there.
I didn't even play Death Stranding 1, but from the sounds of it, there was a lot of walking, and since you're playing a character portrayed by Norman Reedus, it's the Walking Death Stranding.
Yeah, it's infant child parcel delivery simulator.
Yeah.
Oh, so Super Mario World 2.
Basically, yeah. It's if Kojima made Mario World 2.
You know, the game makes a lot more sense when you put it that
It does. I don't know. Having that extra context, maybe I'll finally take the plunge and play it. Well, I think it's going to be on the new PlayStation Plus service. Maybe I'll try it.
The final boss will probably be just as good as Super Mario World 2.
Definitely.
Who knows? But yeah,
no, but I love that Norman Reedus is just like, oh yeah, we started a second one.
Yeah, it's like,
just very casually.
yeah.
Yep.
And then
Does
Kojima
not help.
came out and responded to it. He just put out a tweet with a bunch of pictures of him and Norman and stuff. He just said, quote, "Go to your private room, my friends," with a thumbs up and smiley face with hearts for eyes and stuff. So he's taking it in heart. He's like, oh man, kind of sucks to slipped out, but you know, what can you do?
Yep.
Right. Maybe Nintendo should take notes from that.
Yeah.
Just tell us for sure. 'Cause we're pretty sure at this point that advanced games are coming. Game Boy games.
Nintendo, go to your server room, my friend.
Oh, but we got another game leak. But this one has since been officially announced. There is a demo available for it in Japanese regions. But a new game called Trinity Trigger. It's a isometric action RPG featuring devs from the Xenoblade series, the Secret of Mana series, the Pokemon series, the Bravely Default series, like just all sorts of these huge famous RPG franchises. A bunch of their developers are coming together to work on this project, and it looks really, really good. So it leaked out accidentally by a electronics retailer in Japan last week, but since then, like I said, it's been officially announced it'll launch on PS4, PS5, and Nintendo Switch on the 15th of September in Japan. There's still no word on whether or not it'll be coming out in the West yet, but I imagine a game like this probably will be.
Mm-hmm.
A brief synopsis that we got in this article. It's a 90s era traditional RPG experience for the modern age. A completely new title from developers who had previously worked on traditional fantasy RPGs. Story about a young man caught up in fate who will save the world. The excitement of exploring fields and discovering treasure. An action-based gameplay in which you pave your own path to victory. It's a straightforward fantasy RPG like never before for those who were once kids and have now grown up, and for the kids of today, playable alone or with others. So it looks like they're going to be trying out, similar to how back in like Secret of Mana on the Super Nintendo, you could play that game in 3-player co-op.
Huh.
Of course, you needed an extra peripheral to make the 3-player happen because the Super Nintendo only had 2 controller ports. But yeah, so it looks like they're doing that with this game too, and it looks so good. Like the character art style reminds me a lot of like the character art from the Bravely Default and Octopath
Yes.
Traveler and Triangle Strategy. And then they've got a few artists that worked in the Pokemon franchise designing a bunch of these little creatures that fight alongside your characters. They look really good. But yeah, I mean,
I'm digging the overworld style.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really bright and colorful. It's got a really nice, soft texture feel to it.
Yeah.
This looks just right up my alley.
Yeah.
And I like that they're actually gonna try out this co-op thing because, like, you don't really get that a lot in RPGs. And I feel like a lot of them would be a lot more popular if they had a little bit more of that element to it, because then you can just sit down with your buddy and just enjoy the story together and stuff instead of just being like a single person experience.
3-player co-op. 3 hosts of this podcast.
Are we gonna have to just do a let's play of this when it comes out? I don't know. It'd be kind of fun.
Yeah,
that would be. I mean, I'd definitely be up for it, assuming it is split screen. We don't know yet, do we?
No, I think it all takes place on a single screen.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it's
well,
one
I mean,
screen.
it'll be.
Not...
I imagine it'll probably have some kind of online co-op connectivity as well.
Yeah. I mean, if it's one screen, we could just have one copy of the game, and that'd be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make it a lot easier, actually. Yeah, because that streaming to Twitch with multiple people on one Twitch stream is
not fun.
a little bit. Well, it's doable, but it's not feasible for us right now because we all have to be Twitch partners to make it work.
Oh yeah, the squad streaming you're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
There are slight workarounds to that we could bring up, but that also requires us all to be in the same room, which isn't always the easiest thing to arrange.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this looks fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested. I might pick it up as well, depending on the price.
I mean, it'll be $60.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new game. Nintendo hasn't made the jump to 70 yet, like the PlayStation and Xbox are wanting to. But yeah, it'll be a $60 game on the Switch.
Yeah. Sometimes I just wish some of these games would be 40.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more manageable.
Yeah, a discount on like a digital version would be great.
Yeah, that would help too.
Wasn't that like one of the big selling points of digital games when that first came out too?
I believe so.
I was like, hey, since we don't have to pay all these distribution costs and stuff to get these games out to you, because we're all just hosting it on the server for you to download, you know, that should pass on savings to you. And I mean,
Yep, but then it didn't.
It only does when they want it to.
Yep.
Yeah.
It only does when Valve says, "Hey, Steam sale."
Yeah. And even then, like, Steam sales nowadays are just
So hit or
like
miss.
the only games that actually get a decent discount are games that are already like 5 or 6 years old, and you probably already have them. Like, a game that's only been out for a few months, you'd be lucky to find more than a 10% off discount. And at that point, it's like, well, what's the point? I'll just wait longer.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like I've bought less games because I only buy during Steam sales. Like, if games were just cheaper, I probably would have spent a lot more money on Steam games.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last game I bought in a Steam sale. It's been that long.
I just straight up haven't bought a Steam game in a while.
Yeah, same. But I think the last... I think I bought a couple... I bought a bundle of Star Wars games and stuff on GOG a while ago. And then I bought that Ukraine bundle that had a bunch of indie games and stuff in it. But that was just because it had like Crosscode and Celeste in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the last thing I specifically bought on Steam, though, was I think the Humongous Entertainment Collection.
Oh yeah.
I legitimately don't remember the last time I bought a game on Steam.
Well, maybe I should have some better sales then.
Yeah. It might have been Deep Rock Galactic. Or Temtem, which, well, we'll be getting into that.
Yeah.
But let's move on. So this one's pretty cool. So Yoshitaka Amano, who is known for his work doing character art for the Final Fantasy franchise, has actually been commissioned to do the cover for a Batman comic. And it looks really good.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see Batman done up in this like signature Amano style. Like, I love seeing his artwork move out and branch out into different franchises. Like, he did that Liliana Planeswalker card for Magic the Gathering back during War of the Spark, and that thing is legitimately one of the most expensive cards in that set.
Yeah.
Is this colored pencils? Is this what I'm looking at? Charcoal?
I'm not the most familiar with like how he does it, but he does have a very, very distinctive style that is very easily recognized. But this issue is going to appear on issue 1063 of DC's Detective Comics and goes on sale August 23rd of this year. It's also supposedly going to be a 1 in 25 variant. So for every 25 standard editions of this comic, there's going to be one with this cover. So it's going to be a bit of a collector's item at that.
Cool.
I'm not a like I don't collect comics at all, but this one it might be worth picking up. just just to have, just because I love Final Fantasy so much, and I also love Batman. So
Yeah, if it is 1 in 25, that's probably going to be pretty hard to get unless you get it immediately when it comes out.
right,
So yeah, you'd have to go to a local comic book store around here pretty
yeah,
quick. And it might also sell out very quick too. I don't
right.
Mm-hmm.
know. The comic books I collect now, the variant covers are printed at the same rate, except for specific ones through IDW. But so you can easily find the main two variants, and then the more rare variant is like impossible to find except online for a higher price tag.
Mm-hmm.
So probably if you do want this, you're going to be paying more than
Oh, you're absolutely going to be paying more than
yeah.
the regular
Yeah.
cover price. But at the same time, I mean, you get this thing and you put it in a protective case. This is a collector's item. I mean, this is only going to increase in value over the years.
Yeah.
So it's like, even
Yeah.
if you're spending like 25, like 50
Mhm.
bucks for a comic book, I mean, this is something that is special, and I don't see it like I wouldn't pay like $100 for it because I'm not like a comic book collector, but
Right.
this is
Yeah.
something that if you purchase it with the intent on collecting it, I think your money would be well spent.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mentioned Temtem.
Yeah,
And-
you did.
Yeah, so Temtem, if you haven't heard of it, it's a kind of a Pokemon clone, and it's been in early access for the last couple of years on Steam. And they finally announced that coming this September, it's finally leaving early access. It's finally going to enter 1.0. And what's really interesting about this game in particular is, unlike Pokemon, this is a full MMO, drop in, drop out co-op with your friends and stuff. But it's kind of got that familiar gameplay style that was first made popular really with Pokemon. You run around, you find monsters, you capture them. In this case, you capture them in little cards instead of Pokeballs, but it's the same general idea. They do a little bit of different things with the battle system to kind of differentiate it, but for the most part, it's just MMO knockoff Pokemon, and it's pretty good for what it is. I played it a little bit when early access first came out, and I enjoyed my time with it, but due to the nature of early access, obviously, I ran out of stuff to do pretty quickly. So now, seeing the game finally hit 1.0 this September, I might actually finally go back to it and see what all they added to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably will end up picking this game up eventually, whether it's through you guys or through Brown Stump, because somebody's going to say, "Hey, play this with us on."
Yeah.
Oh, we should definitely stream this game. We're just finding a ton of games. Like, we didn't discuss this stream thing beforehand. Like, this just kind of came up
Wow.
spontaneously. We're finding a lot of stuff that we should just, yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to start doing stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. We need to find some online game that we can first dip our toe into.
Yeah.
Deep Rock Galactic.
Uh,
Come on,
I
Neil,
would-
it's so fun.
It's fun.
It's so good.
I don't know. I'm not super into Deep Rock.
What? Come on.
How about Phantasy Star Online?
Oh
I'd
god.
be willing to do that.
But not even 2, just OG Phantasy Star Online.
On a Dreamcast, let's do it.
Yeah.
That wraps up the news grind, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yep.
guess that. Yep. I guess that's the end of the news grind there. Oh, all right. Well, then I guess from there we are going to move on into our main discussion, which is our Nintendo Switch Online Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance wish list. So we all picked about 3 games each. Well, 3 games or series each because there's so many Game Boy games out there. It's sometimes you just kind of gotta just put the entire freaking series in there.
Yeah.
Because you talk about one and then you just be leaving out others, and it's just, yeah. So, Neil, what'd you pick for your first game?
My first game is a few games, and as you might have guessed, it's the Sonic Advance trilogy. They're
Wait.
the most...
Wait,
What?
a Sonic
be?
game?
You wouldn't believe
Two?
it. Yeah.
Oh, man!
What a surprise.
Yeah.
Continue.
It's Sonic Advance, all 3 games. Sonic Advance series is probably the best thing to come out of Sega during that time period of post Sonic Adventure 2, pre Sonic Unleashed. Yeah, in that area. Some could argue Sonic Rush as well, but personally, I prefer the Sonic Advance trilogy. This is the Sonic games I grew up on. They are great. Not as good as the classic trilogy, and different from the classic trilogy in a weird way. Where the classic trilogy like improves steadily on the same basic concept of gameplay and kept evolving in one way. Sonic Advance trilogy tries something different with every single game. Sonic Advance 1 is very much trying to be Sonic Advance, or not Sonic Advance, trying to be Sonic Genesis 4. And then Sonic Advance 2 completely jumped into trying to emulate Sonic Adventure 2 of all games. Adventure 2, in that it's super fast. That game is a lot of fun to just mindlessly play because once you get into a rhythm, you blast through stages. It's fun. However, it also has a lot less level design than other games because it's mostly just running forward, going through loops and stuff. And they kind of shifted in the third game to big, huge maze-like levels, and threw in a partner system, which is definitely the best part about that game, because every partnership between the characters has completely different move sets. So even like if you pick Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic is a different move set as well. So I would definitely check those out if you haven't already. And I would really love to see it on NSO or wherever they put these Game Boy games.
Yeah. The Advanced Trilogy is really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how they kind of, instead of like you mentioned, like with the classic trilogy, how each one just kind of built on the previous, how like each of the Sonic Advance games kind of feels like its own distinct game.
Yep. Very much so.
Now, I can't help but ask, does this also include Sonic Genesis?
That was going to be my joke for the third one.
Oh, no!
No, you ruined it.
No, it doesn't include that one. However, I would like to see it on NSO.
That would be cool.
I would kind of want that. Legitimately, just because the history of it. You can't buy that game except on this Game Boy Advance. And I don't know how much it is. Honestly, I don't know if that's valued highly because it's a bad game and Sonic bad games are kind of fun to play. I don't think that one's necessarily as fun as Sonic 06. It's just a bad port of Sonic 1.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of enjoyment out of it, both ironically and unironically as a kid. So, but yeah, Sonic Genesis GBA is a thing, and I would like to see it, but it's not set on my priority list anywhere near as high as Sonic Advance.
Understandable.
Yeah.
It's fun because like it is the levels from classic Sonic, but they also screwed it up badly because it's the Sonic Advance engine.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
And that drastically changes the gameplay flow, and it doesn't work very well.
Yeah, and Sonic 1 was very physics-based, even more
Yeah.
than 2 and 3.
Yep, because of the absence of spin dash, which is present in Sonic Genesis.
Yeah, there's one mode that has it and one mode that doesn't. That's the anniversary feature of Sonic Genesis, is they added a spin dash and nothing else.
Yep.
I feel like I've talked more about Sonic Genesis than Sonic Advance. Maybe not.
No, I don't think so.
And then Stealth released his own port of Sonic the Hedgehog for the Game Boy Advance, and then
one of the guys behind Sonic Mania did a proof of concept of you could make this work on the Sonic Advance. They just didn't try at all.
Yeah. Stealth has done many, many great things for the Sonic series as a whole.
Yep. Both officially, unofficially, and as jokes.
Yep.
So, Lucas, what do you got for your first game here?
I have the Game Boy Color Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons games. And I grouped them together because you really can't have one without the other because of the password feature in those games that lets you, like, if you complete Ages first, then you get a password at the end of it that you can enter into your copy of Oracle of Seasons and kind of continue the storyline in the next game. And it lets you get unique items to a password play, as well as access the true ending where you get to fight Ganon, actually.
Dang.
So, in a sense, it's not quite Sonic 3 and Knuckles lock-on technology, but they're two halves of the same game, basically. So, you really need to have one in order to have the other. But also, they're just really fun Zelda games. Me and my friend back in college, during our lunch break between classes, because we just so happened to share it, we actually decided to race each other in Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, and believe it or not, I lost.
Wow.
But hear me out on that. Prior to Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, we were racing Super Mario World 96 exits. My friend gave up and started Oracle of Ages early, and I was like, I'm confident enough to let you.
So
I was getting to the final boss of Oracle of Seasons by the time he was getting to the Ganon battle. So no amount of Pegasus seeds were going to make me catch up. But it certainly helped, because I gained, I think, a whole dungeon on him in one day because of it.
Dang. I think you are correct to group those games together because the Wikipedia entry also groups them together.
Oh, okay. It would also maybe be cool if we saw like a modern Game Boy Color like game of Oracle of Secrets, which was the canceled third game.
Oh yeah.
Originally, it was going to be a trilogy: Ages, Seasons, and Secrets. Pharaoh, the Oracle of Secrets. They took the three goddesses of the Triforce and made them into people in Ages and Seasons. Ages has Nairu and Seasons has Din. But yeah, Pharaoh, or however that name is pronounced, because I can't pronounce Zelda names worth anything. She was going to be the third Oracle of Secrets, in a third game, Oracle of Secrets. But then she just kind of became the password intermediary after they canceled making 3 games and condensed it down to 2 of them.
Did they condense it down because they didn't have enough content, or is it like the end of the lifespan of the Game Boy Color that caused it?
I'm not entirely sure. I forget when Oracle of Ages and Seasons originally came out.
Oracle's Seasons is
That'd have been late
2000,
90s.
2001. Oracle
Whoa,
of
okay.
Ages is also 2001. So that might
That
easily
was-
be it.
Yeah, that was right on the heel of the GBA coming out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That makes sense because there's like Game Boy Advance exclusive content in those games. As weird as that is.
That is weird.
Yeah, it's I think the first Shantae game actually had GBA exclusive content. It was nothing major. It was like you get to access the advanced shop. But
Okay,
Well-
so when you
well,
plug in
a
a
lot
Game Boy
of-
Color into an Advance, you get that sort of thing.
Yeah.
kind of like the
Gotcha.
advanced content on the Super Game Boy.
Yeah, like
Right.
a lot of Game Boy games had stuff like that. I mean, even if it was something as simple as having special colors when you plug it into a Game Boy Color,
Yeah.
Right.
like the original Pokemon games. I mean, they were black and white if you plug them into a Game Boy, but you plug them into a Game Boy Color, and they had some color.
Yeah.
Some color, yes.
Or you plug them into a Super Game Boy and get special borders as well
Yeah.
as like an even more colorized game.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one of the exclusive items in the Advance shop was a seed ring that was the Advance ring. Live Life Advance. It was just kind of a show-off item, really.
Yeah, now that I have finally beaten a Zelda game, I'm looking to go and play a whole bunch of other ones and stuff, and the Oracle games are definitely up there on the list, and it would be really neat to see them on Switch Online so I could try them there,
Yeah.
as opposed to buying them on the secondary market where the cartridges loose are going for $40 to $50 depending on versions.
Oof.
Yeah, I think Oracle of Seasons is more expensive than Ages, or it might be backwards. But one of them's like $40, and the other one's right around 50.
Okay. Both unreasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you don't want to know how much I paid for that copy of Pokemon Conquest I bought this week.
Mm-hmm.
Considering I know what you paid for your copy of Pokemon Platinum, it wouldn't surprise me.
It wasn't that much. It
Okay.
was close.
Oh.
Ooh.
So it wasn't
Uh.
quite 3 digits, but it was upper 2 digits then.
Yeah, but it benefited charity. A local charity at that. It's shipping right out of Michigan, which is like, oh, okay. And
Yeah.
it's benefiting a local Goodwill. So it's like, all right.
Okay then.
I feel less bad about having to spend that much, but I wanted that game.
Yeah.
I love me a good strategy RPG, and this one has Pokemon.
Understandable.
But anyway, back on topic, I
Yeah.
think.
What's your third pick?
Yes. So I chose the Super Mario Land series, most specifically for Mario Land 2 and Mario Land 3. So these games were like full-on Mario games developed specifically for the Game Boy, but they were produced by Gunpei Yokoi rather than Shigeru Miyamoto. So they're a little bit different from your traditional Mario game.
Mr. Metroid. Mr. Game Boy.
So the first one I have not played, but it's kind of like Super Mario Bros, but Game Boyified with special, like it had that kind of Super Mario Bros aesthetic to it rather. Super Mario Land though I played a lot when I was a kid, my friend would bring his Game Boy on the bus in the mornings, and this is one of the games that he would bring on every now and then. We just sit there and we play through it, and it's a really cool game. It's got an overworld, just like Super Mario Bros. 3 had. And each of the different worlds are really cool. Like there's one where it's just like a giant mechanized Mario that you climb up through. But most notably, Super Mario Land 2 is the first game to feature Wario.
Ah, yes.
This was Wario's introduction. He was the final boss and the main antagonist in Mario Land 2, where basically the game starts out, he steals Mario's castle, and Mario is tasked with finding 6 golden coins to make his way back into the castle and take it back from Wario. So
Mario had
the game had a
castle?
bunch of really unique enemy designs compared to the console-based Mario games. It had some unique power-ups like Bunny Mario, which he picked up a carrot and it gave him bunny ears, and then you could fly briefly by tapping the A button, that was my favorite power-up. That was always really fun to use because it's really unique at the time. Because
did that game still have the like Super Ball from Super Mario Land 1? It was like Super Mario Land's version of the Fire Flower, but instead of just bouncing in kind of a sinusoidal fashion, it just bounced off of whatever surface it hit.
I think so. It did have Fire Mario. You can throw fireballs, and then they bounce along the ground and defeat enemies, and then you can use them to break fiery blocks. And in this version, he gets a feather on his cap since it's a different color palette costume, because obviously the original Game Boy didn't have access to different color palettes. But also Super Mario Land 3 was actually titled Wario Land, and that game was Wario's first game as the main character. So that game was another game that my friend had for his Game Boy that we would play every now and then. That one was really fun too. Like Wario is just such a quirky character, and it's different stuff that he brought to the game was really fun. Like he had a bunch of his own different unique power-ups, like Dragon Wario, where he had a dragon cap that he wore that basically shot fire out of its nose. He had a jet hat where you could had jet thrusters on the back of his hat so he could fly and stuff, and the whole game was really goofy and really took advantage of Wario as a character, and it was really fun to play. And I bought both of these games on the 3DS Virtual Console, so I do have them to play there. I just haven't really spent a lot of time on them yet for various reasons, but I would love to be able to play them up on the big screen with Switch Online.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, they're really fun games. They didn't let the limitations of the Game Boy hold them back at all. Like, they are full-on, full-length Mario games. I mean, they take you a couple of hours as to opposed to, like, a Super Mario World taking you several, unless you, do the Star World exploit and get to Bowser's Castle early that way, but
yeah.
From what I've heard, Super Mario Land 1 was kind of a black sheep of the series. But they were still figuring out the Game Boy, and that it's a little more divisive, which is uncommon with mainline Super Mario games, besides Sunshine. But that part of it is just the sprite is so small, and it's more about the graphic issues. And there's just some weird choices, like Princess Daisy, instead of being replaced by a toad at the end of the castle, just turns into a bug. It's a very strange game. There's turtles, Koopas, I guess, that explode. They have bombs instead of shells. Yep. It is weird.
Yeah. They are definitely unique games within the Mario franchise
Mm-hmm.
that everyone should experience them, especially 2 and 3. And Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3, actually spawned 5 sequels where Wario got, like, it basically just spawned the Wario Land
Wario.
series.
Yup.
Yep.
Yep.
So,
And no, about the Super Ball, that was unique to Super Mario Land.
oh, was it?
The weird bouncing around
Yeah.
like a laser beam reflecting.
Yep.
Yeah. I assume they had the fire flower and or whatever the second one is called. What is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was the fire flower.
6 golden coins, yes.
Yeah. Yep. But Neil, what's your next game?
My next game is a very personal one. And one that I don't know if I'm gonna get because it's Frogger's Adventure Temple of the Frog.
Hmm.
Now I don't actually know about the sequel of this game, but I know a lot about the first one. It was actually my very first Game Boy Advance game. It's the one my mom got for me along with my Game Boy Advance, and it was a ton of fun. It's basically, it takes the concept of a top-down platformer where you're dodging trucks, except it just expands that, upgrades the graphics, and it's like a top-down platformer with a D-pad, and it's pretty simple mechanics. You can jump forward, you can jump to the side, and you can turn around and jump backwards with the D-pad. And then A will jump you 2 squares in whichever direction you're facing. B is you shoot out your tongue because you're a frog. You can get butterflies this way, which are 1-ups. And then your last move is the L and R buttons, which will rotate you so you can better use the long jump. And with just that, they do a ton of cool things. There's, I think, 5 main worlds, and each one feels super unique. It's a decent game. It's not super great or anything, but I'd really like to see it because I really loved it. I have to emulate it to play it nowadays.
Yeah. Now that you
That cover art, though, is the stuff of horrors.
a little bit, yeah.
Hold
Just
on, I
gonna
don't
say
remember the
that.
cover art.
Oh, man. It's kind of terrifying.
This a little bit.
Oh yeah, his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that you bring this game up, I really want this too, because this is actually one of my first Game Boy Advanced games as well.
Nice. Woo.
And yeah, it is a lot of fun.
It is.
Like
Did
a Frogger
you beat it?
No, I never actually got very far in it, actually.
Well, spoilers for this mid-2000s Game Boy Advance game. You fight death at the end.
What? Okay, I need to go back and play through this game.
Yeah. Frogger battles against death.
I love that.
In the initial cutscenes at the beginning, they refer to him as Mr. D, but then you fight him and he's like the Grim Reaper.
Well,
Go
looks
ahead,
like
Talon.
I'm revisiting this game.
Yep.
Yeah, this game looks pretty neat. Huh. Now, just for
Yeah.
curiosity's sake. Uh,
I think my copy is still sitting somewhere downstairs in my portable games organizer.
oh. Why are you just emulating this game? It's like $2.
I mean, I own it.
Yeah.
I don't. My only way to play Game Boy games is with an old DS that doesn't work very well.
Understandable.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
I do also have a Game Boy. I still do have my
Wait.
old Game Boy SP, but the screen doesn't work. The only game I can play is Sonic Adventure or Sonic Advance 2 because I know that game by heart. I can get pretty far in it without seeing anything.
Nice.
That's bizarre.
Just send it Colin's way. We'll do like a screen replacement, like they did with my $2 Game Boy Advance SP from.
Oh,
It's
yeah. I do know how to
It's
do
not
that.
worth it. It's not worth it. My Game Boy Advance is so beat up. It's awful. It would be
Well, I
more
mean,
worthwhile
we
for
could
me to
do
just buy
like
another one.
Could also
we
do
could
a shell swap.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, we could do like one of those like one of those one piece shell swaps, so it turns it makes it into more like a Game Boy Pocket type form factor.
Yeah,
Mm.
do that too.
Mm.
And I think some of those are like made out of like aluminum too, so they're really nice and sturdy.
Metal.
I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with a Game Boy Advance SP.
Much more than you can do with a Game
Yeah.
Gear.
Yes, there's a pretty good modding community surrounding the Game Boy Advance SP in particular. So, I mean, we could definitely fix that thing up. Let me take a look at it. See what we can come up with, Neil.
All right.
Well, we can rebuild it. We have the technology.
We have the technology. I will bring it next time we meet up in person.
Cool.
It's in my art box for a very long reason. A very hard to explain reason.
But
I do have it. I know where it is.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, Lucas, what do you got for number 2?
So, my number 2 game, another like very mainstream Nintendo franchise. The game is Kirby Tilt and Tumble.
Oh yeah,
it's a kind of an interesting entry in the Kirby series. I mean, you play as Kirby, but Kirby is very spherical. So rather than a traditional platformer game like the Kirby games on Game Boy and the NES, Super Nintendo at that point, it is sort of like a marble maze, but Kirby, where Kirby is the marble. And it is a Game Boy Color game with motion controls. So the cartridge itself has a gyroscope on board to actually like keep track of the tilts of the Game Boy, and yeah, it's a very interesting game. And I think given that the Switch also has gyroscopic stabilization for motion and movement, that game would do really well with a much more modern motion tracking system. And it's Kirby, so why not?
Yeah. Well, I will say I like the amount of playing around that they did with the Game Boy Color generation of games, in particular, with like extra stuff built into the cartridges, like the Rumble features and stuff, and like the Star Wars Episode 1 Racer and the Pokemon Pinball, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the gyros and all that. Like, they did a lot of stuff with the Game Boy Color cartridges back then.
Yeah. They took a cue from the Super Nintendo and took adding coprocessors and extra features. And I mean, go to the Game Boy Advance, you got the e-reader. For as much as for as big of a failure as that is, the e-reader does exist and actually is pretty cool.
Yeah, and also on the Game Boy Advance there was a game, forget the title of it right now, but it was made by Hideo Kojima, and it featured a solar panel on the cartridge. And to play the game, you actually had to go out in the sunlight and use actual sunlight to kill vampires.
Wow, that's Kojima AF.
Yeah. I forget what the name of the game is, but it just sounds cool. They really played around with extra stuff in those years, and it was always really cool. The game is
called Boktai.
Oh yeah, Boktai. Yeah.
Man, Kojima just has the wildest ideas.
Yeah.
And Norman Reedus.
Went from capturing sunlight to killing, in order to kill vampires, to carrying infant childs across desolate post-apocalyptic worlds.
Kojima is an interesting man for sure.
Yes.
Yes.
At least he hasn't gotten into NFTs yet.
Don't jinx it.
Don't jinx it.
But anyway, back to the subject of Kirby.
Yeah.
It's a good look. This would be a fun one for them to integrate the gyro features in the Switch and make this work on Switch Online.
Yeah. Bring it to a modern console, or a console more modern than technically the GameCube, because I guess if you had a Game Boy player, you could plug it in and pick up your GameCube and manhandle your GameCube.
Oh my. That sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see a video of a person doing that, though.
I would do it myself, but my GameCube's optical drive is very iffy as is, so I don't want to chance any more damage to it.
Yeah, we still gotta fix that.
Yeah. More console modding with Colin.
Yeah!
Except
Most of the time we succeed. Other times we have 2 NESs that we go through in a single weekend that both of them refuse to work.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
Understandable. Mine works, though.
Yes. At least we were able to confirm that much.
Yep.
Well, I guess I'll jump into my next game here. It's another series. The Golden Sun series for the Game Boy Advance.
Yes. Starring Isaac from the Assist Trophies.
Yes. It's another game that I didn't own, but I was able to play a friend's copy of for a while, and it's just one of the coolest RPG experiences on the Game Boy Advance. Apparently, it was originally in development for the Nintendo 64, and then at some point during the development, it was switched over to be made for the GBA, and they actually had to split the game in half in order to make it work. So there's Golden Sun 1, and then there's also Golden Sun The Lost Age, and the 2 games are actually meant to be just one game.
Could have used Sega's lock-on technology for that.
Yeah.
They could have used that if they...
Stack 2 Game Boy Advance cartridges on top of each other, make a game the size of a Game Boy game. It'd be perfect. I mean, they were putting solar panels on there. Why couldn't they?
Right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so these are games I've always wanted to go back and revisit. They're on the Wii U Virtual Console. I was thinking about buying them there before the shop goes completely offline. I might still do that because that's currently the best way to play Game Boy Advance games on your TV.
GameCube?
Well, I mean, with the GameCube, you have to go through a bunch of rigmaroles to do the HD upscaling and all that if you want to play on a
Fair enough.
HD TV. Whereas a Wii U is just already natively upscaled to HD.
Or you could
Of course,
just play.
the downside being you're not playing the physical cartridge.
Yeah. Or you could just use a CRT.
I need to get a CRT.
I'm sitting right next to mine. It's
I need to find one.
It has S-video input.
We need to go do some garage sales this year and see if we can happen across a freaking CRT.
Find you an NES.
Or some old video games, even.
Yeah, find you an NES, find you a TV to play it on.
Yeah.
Who knows, maybe find me a Sega CD finally to go with my 32X.
But yeah, like it's been so many years since I played these games, and since I didn't actually own them myself, I didn't actually get the chance to play them so extensively that I know them super well. But regardless, I want them to be easily accessible so that way I can go back and revisit them and play them as extensively as I would like to. So yeah, put them on Switch Online. Please. Just do it.
Honestly, I'd be curious about trying those out too, because like I never got into a bunch of RPGs on the Game Boy Advance because I've really only ever played my Game Boy Advance on the road.
Yeah, it was always really hard to pick up and put down RPGs and stuff, except for like Pokemon and all that. But
yeah.
But yeah, Neil, what's your last game?
Well, I was gonna make a joke and talk about Sonic in an additional time.
But Lucas
But
ruined
Lucas beat me to the punch, yeah. So instead, we're going to talk about Sonic Battle and Sonic Pinball Party instead.
More Sonic games!
Yeah. Sonic Battle and Sonic Pinball Party were the two Game Boy Advance spin-offs. And they were good. Loved them. Kind of divisive, though. Sonic Pinball Party is just mostly from, even in Sonic fans, just a meh. This is a pinball party game, or a pinball game.
Is it better than Spinball, though?
Debatable. Depends what you're looking for in a pinball game. Sonic Spinball was straight up like a platformer morphed with a pinball game. Like you controlled actual Sonic and you could influence him that way. Pinball Party is just like a digital pinball table with like a silver ball. You're not even playing as Sonic.
Huh.
What made Pinball Party interesting, though, was that there was not only Sonic board with multiple zones from Sonic Advance, but also there was a Knights table, which was the better of those two tables, and there was also a Samba de Amigo table.
Nice.
It was the worst one, and it was like a rhythm game that was really boring, and I never played it, so that's fine. The other thing about Sonic, go ahead.
The table was a rhythm game?
Yeah, the pinball table had a rhythm game built into it. It was real weird. It was really basic.
That sounds real awful.
It was. Yeah. Not to mention you're listening to Game Boy Advance music on your rhythm game.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. The other cool thing about the game was that it had a story mode, oddly enough. There's this pinball tournament, and initially you're fighting Knuckles as your first guy, and there's this whole group of characters that are all from various Sega games, and then you find out that both Tails and Amy have been brainwashed, and it's great because Sonic is completely clueless, even though they're talking totally differently and have red irises and are angry, and Sonic's like, "What's wrong with you, Tails? Why are you so mean?" It's great. I love it. But eventually,
I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, eventually you fight Eggman, which I couldn't beat. And last night I googled it just to see what the ending actually is. It's super underwhelming. You get a picture of Sonic, and then the credits roll, and that's it.
Nice.
I mean, actually, there is another clip of a cutscene like the rest of the game right before that, but it's literally just Sonic going, "Hey, take that, Eggman," and Eggman's like, "Arg, I'll get you next time."
Yeah.
That's your ending cutscene. Sonic Battle, on the other hand, was an RPG, and an RPG crossed with a fighting game. It's like a Super Smash Brothers story mode, but I say RPG because it really focuses on that story. Like, to the point that they didn't put as much effort into the gameplay as they did writing the story.
Oh no.
So it's like low effort Blaze Blue, where it's a visual novel crossed with a fighting game.
Yeah. Like the core gameplay of Sonic Battle is not bad, and I find it a lot of fun. I would really like to somehow get together a bunch of people and play it over link cables and play a 4-player Sonic Battle game.
I have a 4-person link cable.
Once we replace my Game Boy SP, maybe we can do this.
Let's do it.
Or we could stream it by also hooking it up to GameCubes. That would be hell.
I also have access to multiple Game Boy Advances and a DS Lite, so
yeah.
But
yeah,
make it happen.
I got a GBA player.
But yeah, no, the core gameplay is really good. The problem is that to make it more challenging, they just say, all right, fight us again with more stocks. So it's very repetitive. And it feels kind of like Kingdom Hearts in that way, of like you're just trying to get through the sludge of playing the same good core gameplay just to get to the next story beat. It's got an interesting thing with a robot that Eggman finds that was, I forget exactly how it's linked to Gerald Robotnik, but it's linked to him. And it's this ancient robot that's super powerful, and it can learn based on watching others fight and becomes the most powerful fighting robot. And in the end, once again, spoilers for an old Sonic Game Boy Advance game, you fight the robot itself as you have built him up yourself, and you make him very strong, and you get to the final battle, and you have to fight him as Sonic, who is very weak compared to your robot at the end.
Oh my.
It's hard. I could not beat it either. But it actually ties into Sonic Advance 3's storyline, because the robot Eggman has in that is Gemerl, as opposed to Emerald, who is a rebuilt Emerald.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now is the robot upgrading something that just happens naturally as the story progresses, or is it something you have control over?
It's something you have control over.
So could you, in theory, just not upgrade it at all throughout the story and then just fight the powered down robot at the end?
Here's the thing, you have to play as the robot too, so you need to be able to beat the harder enemies with your robot, who initially is way underpowered compared to like Sonic or the other characters. So yeah,
it's a double-edged sword. You could do it one way to have an easier time at the end, or okay, interesting.
Yep. So it's actually kind of well made in that sense, but yeah, it's repetitive, and there's a lot of like, even though the core gameplay is fun, there's a lot of like tricks that you can do to get like characters into locks. Like especially with the Rouge, you can do an air kick that just locks a character, and that's the best way to win with Rouge, because it's surefire going to win, and it's just boring button mashing.
Yeah. That sounds like the scissor kick headlock with Sonya Blade in Mortal Kombat 1.
Yep. And it also had the problem of being on a Game Boy Advance and not having a lot of buttons. There's just attack, jump, and special attack, and that's it. So
that is kind of an unfortunate side effect of the Game Boy Advance, is that it's the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah. Yep. I do want to talk about the music real quick, because I absolutely loved the instrumentation they used in Sonic Battle. It's very unique for a Game Boy Advance game. It's very metal rock sounding, and I love it.
Nice.
If you can find the soundtrack somewhere, pirated is the only way you're ever going to find it, but listen to it because it's great. Also, they did remix one song in Sonic Generations, and that's one of my favorite Sonic Generations tracks. So, yeah.
Cool.
Sounds
but Lucas is up next.
Yeah. My number one game for Nintendo Switch Online Game Boy Advance is 3D Mark Advance.
Excuse me?
Yeah. It says so right on their website. You can get 3D Mark Advance Edition.
Oh. Now,
for real though.
Get out of here.
My number one pick would be the Game Boy Metroid games, which most people are probably more familiar with Metroid Fusion and Metroid Zero Mission, but back on the original Game Boy, the one that Gunpei Yokoi built, the guy who invented Metroid made a console that was a handheld, that was the Game Boy. And then he put his own creation on it, and that was Metroid 2. Which is not a good game. It is actually very, very difficult. I've only ever beaten it, I think, twice, and it was a kind of a struggle fest, especially when you get to the final boss. But with Metroid Samus Returns on the 3DS, I think it's only fitting that people should be able to experience the game that it's remaking.
Yeah.
So I think that should be available.
Sort of like the same reason I want Sonic Genesis on the Game Boy Advance Online, just because history. It's worse, but history.
Yeah, it's historically significant.
Yeah.
On the Game Boy Advance side of things, we have Metroid Zero Mission, which is a remake of the original Metroid, which is also a very difficult game because of the limitations of the NES mostly. And then Metroid Fusion, which came out the same day as Metroid Prime.
It did.
And there's like GBA link content between the two games. You can unlock the original Metroid and
oh, geez, I own both Sonic Prime and I still have Metroid Fusion, and I sold Metroid Prime before I got Fusion.
no.
I own both, but never at the same time. I just realized that.
I own both and at the same time.
Oh, well.
You can connect the GBA link with a complete save on one and a complete save on the other, and you can get the Fusion suit in Metroid Prime. Take that as
that's
you
actually
will.
awesome. But you have to have a completed game for it to work?
I forget which one needs to be completed for that, but yeah.
So I still wouldn't have had it either way, because I haven't completed either of those.
And then for the other one, you could play the original Metroid, which was cool.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
You could also, if I remember correctly, link together Metroid Fusion and Metroid Zero Mission to unlock NES Metroid. But I think you could also unlock it by completing Metroid Zero Mission, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But I kind of prefer Fusion to Zero Mission. I think it's mostly just because I'm more familiar and more better at Fusion. I can make my way through Zero Mission pretty alright. I've gone so far as to like even complete the game fighting Ridley before fighting Kraid, which there's kind of a hidden Easter egg path to do. But
well, I mean, I mentioned it on the last episode. I mean, Metroid Fusion was the first Metroid game I ever beat. So I'd like to play that up on TV in a very low effort type of way with save states and rewind and stuff that you get with the Nintendo Online.
Yeah, it would be much better than playing it on the TV through a Game Boy player using your Game Boy Advance through the link cable.
Yeah. Yeah, I did pick up both Fusion and Zero Mission on the Wii U eShop before credit card payment went offline on that last week. So I have them on there, at least.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind playing them on the Switch, too. And obviously I have physical copies of both because I demanded physical copies of those.
They're really good.
They're very good.
Yeah. For as linear and non-Metroidvania at times as Fusion can be, I still think it's one of my favorites in the series. Honestly, I would almost actually put it behind Super Metroid as my second favorite. Well, maybe third favorite, because Metroid Prime does exist. But it's definitely my second favorite of the 2D platforming Metroids.
Interesting. It's interesting it stayed that way after Metroid Dread came out.
Dread's really good, but...
Dread is really, really good.
But Fusion is also really good.
It is very, very good. I will say, it is very, very good. But I feel like Metroid Dread took a lot of the cool stuff from Fusion and amplified it.
Yes. That's why it is firmly booted Zero Mission out of my top 3.
Yes. That's fair.
Also, there's just some of the things about the gameplay mechanics in Zero Mission that I don't really care for over Fusion. namely ball sparking.
Balls.
Yeah.
Oh, spark.
They also changed the wall jump mechanic yet again, and I think like in Metroid Fusion, the way wall jumping worked is that you were locked in your direction away from the wall for long enough to where you couldn't single wall jump, which is fine because the way the game was coded, if you actually perform sequence breaks, you can soft lock the game. But in Metroid Zero Mission, they kind of doubled back and made single wall jumping too easy. Like, Samus barely moves away from the wall, and I think that kind of detracts away from the gameplay in Zero Mission, because then you can just single wall jump up anywhere. Which I guess is true to the like sequence breaking nature of a Metroidvania. Like the original Metroid, you could go fight Ridley before you fight Kraid. Heck, you could go fight Mother Brain without fighting either of them. But I don't know. There's just something about Zero Mission's wall jumping that has never sat right with me.
Is it as bad as Super Metroid's wall jumping?
Super Metroid's wall jumping is perfect.
It's not, though. Although I will admit in this last playthrough that I did, so this week I started up another playthrough of Super Metroid just so I could get all the way to the end of the game in Lower Norfair, just to capture all the way to the end of the gameplay footage in Lower Norfair to make a video for my YouTube channel for my cover of the Lower Norfair song.
So go check that out.
Yes, go check that out. But I will say, by the end of that run, I was finally getting comfortable with wall jumping. I definitely cannot do that that insane single wall jump that speedrunners and stuff do. But I can at least do it enough to a point where I can get to where I want to go now with wall jumps. So that was pretty nice. It's still not as good as it is in Fusion or Dread, though.
I don't know.
Touch the wall, I jump. I touch the wall, I jump. That's how it should be. It should not be frame perfect. I should not have to make any directional adjustments. I should just be able to touch the wall and jump. Like I mentioned before with Mega Man X, just make it like that. You touch the wall and you jump. Why can't it just do that? Anyway.
Yeah. What's your number one, Colin?
My number one is it's the elephant in the room, isn't it? Because when you talk about Game Boy games, I mean, it's kind of hard not to talk about Pokemon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see Generation 1, 2, and 3, all of them on Switch Online, and have connectivity to Pokemon Home. And that's including Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, and even Fire Red, Leaf Green. Just put them all up there, make them all connect to Pokemon Home. Just do it.
Yeah.
There really isn't much that
we managed to sidestep that with 8 games preceding it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much that needs to be said about these games.
It just makes sense.
It just makes sense.
Especially with Pokemon Bank closing down on the 3DS too.
Bank is not closing down. It's going to be free. They're just taking away the subscription from it. But eventually it probably will shut down, especially once Nintendo just kind of shuts the doors on the servers for like they're doing with the Wii and DSi right now. But yeah, just put them on there. What more needs to be said? It's Pokemon. And with that, we're starting to get a little short on time here. So let's move on to our weekly Link to the Past. And this week we have Medal of Honor Frontline, which came out on May 29th, which is today, the day of recording, in 2002. It released on the PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox, and PlayStation 3, according to Wikipedia.
Huh.
Okay, that's weird. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, no, it wouldn't have come out in 2002 on the PlayStation 3. What are you talking about, Wikipedia? What are you doing here? Maybe it got ported there later. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. HD
It's-
port in 2010.
Okay. So it looks like it takes place during the events of the first Medal of Honor game. And yeah, I think I played this one. I played a Medal of Honor game on the PS2. I think it was probably this one. But yeah, it's a World War II first person shooter, you know.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot to say there. But happy birthday regardless. I mean, from what I understand, it was a pretty good game.
Huh.
So I know Medal of Honor as a franchise kind of died off once Call of Duty got popular, but
Yeah.
it had a good run, and this was one of the better games in the series from what I know. So yeah, happy birthday, Medal of Honor Frontline.
Honestly, I feel like from a setting standpoint, I have more appreciation for the Medal of Honor series, just because I think the historical first-person shooter like this and the original Call of Duty are more appealing to me in some way than the modern derivative nonsense that the current Call of Duty series is.
Yeah,
It's World War III again.
I still believe that Call of Duty World at War was like the last truly good Call of Duty game. And I know Modern Warfare 2 came out after it. I don't care. I didn't like Modern Warfare 2. There's your hot take for this week.
Yep. Honestly,
Anyway,
I'm kind of with you on that one.
you know what? You know what it was for me though? World at War had this great co-op, and then Modern Warfare 2 came out, and it had this really like just completely half-assed co-op. So it wasn't as good. It just wasn't as good. I'm sorry, Call of Duty fans. World at War was better. Anyway, Lucas, what have you been playing?
Well, to get in the mood for talking about Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games, I've been playing through Pokemon Gold.
Ah.
I've also been playing a bit of Sonic 3 on the side, too.
Oh yeah, because Neil spoiled that our next to that one game episode is Sonic 3.
It was
Actually,
a
I think
teaser.
we both kind of spoiled that because I made a little bit of a mention of something of it earlier in the episode. But anyway,
And Knuckles. Can't forget about Knuckles.
and Knuckles. What have you been playing, Neil?
I've been going back to Super Metroid a little bit, trying to get a little bit more in there since I actually lost my game file the same day that we did the episode recording for that one game. So I've been going in there and trying to get a little bit further into where I was initially, because I was before Lower Warfare, I believe. But I'm now in Brinstar again. The first time. Not even the backtracking.
Yeah, that sounds like quite the setback you had there.
Yeah, it sucks. But because that was such a setback, I've also just been starting playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles as well. Specifically the Sonic 3 Air mod, which is a very good mod, and at the moment, pre Sonic Origins. Yeah, if you don't have Sonic 3 on Steam, I think at this point you can't get it. Or is it still up? It's soon that it's going to be gone. But yeah, Sonic 3 Air is a good mod that kind of emulates the style of the Sonic 1 and 2 ports on mobile games, but also adds a lot of things from the ROM hack Sonic 3 Complete, which was also a very good way to play Sonic 3, but it was not widescreen. So, but yeah, that's what I've been playing. Also Minecraft, but
yeah.
that's to be assumed.
Yes. So I just this week, last weekend, I finished up Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Definitive Edition on the Switch, getting ready for Xenoblade 3 when it got pushed up to July of this year. So I got another month to get through Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I started that up immediately after I finished Xenoblade 1. I put like 20 hours into it last weekend alone. And then that's just kind of been put on the back burner because I've been working on Sonic the Hedgehog 3, getting the music ready for that episode, and also Pokemon Silver because I love Generation 2 Pokemon. They are my favorite. And I think that's all I've been playing lately. Yeah, so I guess we just reached the end of the episode now.
I do want to jump in real quick here and say yes, Sonic 3 and Sonic 1 and 2 are all down off the Steam store as of right now of this recording. So it's too late, folks.
Yep.
Too late.
We'll have to travel back to our previous episodes.
Yeah, once they go up on YouTube and pretend it's 2 months earlier because I've been slow getting those uploaded. I'm catching up. I am
getting there.
Yeah.
All right.
Will be up for sure.
But that concludes episode 6. So what are some of your favorite games from the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance? Did we talk about them today? We'd like to hear from you. We just set this up. You can now email the podcast directly at fans.togp@gmail.com, and we may even read your response on future episodes. Aside from that, you can also find us individually outside the podcast. And Lucas, where can we find you?
Find me at Karn Evil 9, That One Gaming Podcast on YouTube. I upload playthroughs of games that we do for That One Game episodes of our podcast.
All right. And Neil, what about you?
I am VMK89 on the internet. I am on Twitch. I am on YouTube. At the moment, I'm more active on Twitch. You can catch a weekly stream called Minecraft Monday that happens every Monday, where I play on my Rome server and sometimes like mini games or other maps, but usually on the Rome server with friends from the Round Stump Discord. Check me out, twitch.tv/VMK9, youtube.com/VMK9. And I'm on Twitter at IamVMK9.
And as for myself, if you're listening to this when it's on YouTube, you're already in the right place. That's youtube.com/deliciousmorsels. I'm also occasionally streaming on Twitch. Haven't done too much lately, but if you want to follow, just in the off chance I do pop on there, that's twitch.tv/deliciousmorsels. Also, if you want to get at me on Twitter, I am at deliciousmorsel. I'm just a singular morsel on Twitter, thanks to their 15 character limit and my tag being 16 characters. That's very annoying, but what can you do? Yeah, so come find us there. And as always, if you liked what you heard today, please be sure to hit that subscribe button where that's an option. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts because I hear they like that stuff. Hit that like button if that's a thing, and feel free to share it with a friend. We'll be back in a couple weeks with another episode, but until then, have a wonderful rest of your day. The TOGP crew is signing off. See ya!
See ya!
Do outro music!